Yo, I'm Ivan, a Spanish native with 18 months in Japanese, more than 43 months in English, and as an athlete, I'm on a mission to help fucked up language learners who can't study for more than 5 hours on a daily basis. You can kind of guess that using the pomodoro tactic and taking a break every 30 minutes to 1 hour will work and you will get more consistent on a daily basis, but it won't work unless you're studying for just 1 hour daily and taking breaks every 20 minutes like a retarded ADHD person. You are probably not that person and you're trying to study 4 to 5 hours daily. So just follow what I will say to you in this video and I promise you that you will finish those 4 to 5 hours of study in languages before 12 p.m. You have to know for a fact that language learning is way easier to do than to memorize 500 cards in Anki for your medicine career. And so yes, you're actually capable of doing already 2 hours and 30 minutes to 3 hours of immersion, which shows you actually do enjoy. And so why are you going to take a break if you can actually finish the work way earlier than you thought you were going to finish it? I'm not saying that you shouldn't take a break at some moment, but if you're studying 3 to 4 hours, why should you take breaks at something you can finish within one sit? You know, whatever break that you take will be way better if you don't have the anxiety of having to finish another 2 hours of study. I know for a fact that if you didn't sleep well, you're getting kind of sleepy during your language immersion. At that point, I will say to just go and take a nap. Don't have rests with something like video games just because you think that you will be able to study after, but in reality, it will just become way more difficult to study for the reason that now you're doing an activity which is way more fun than studying languages. And if we objectively analyze your brain whenever you're playing video games, you're going to be able to notice that your brain is literally at its maximum capacity, and so now you're not even taking a rest at that point. Don't interrupt the flow. This is probably the most important part and you need to pay attention to this. Interrupting the flow is the worst thing that you can do if you want to study long hours. So what I mean by the flow is, you probably know this thing called entering the zone in sports. Well, it's literally the same thing but with whatever activity. So when you enter the flow, you are literally in this state in which you really don't have that much thoughts. Maybe you can have an interrupting thought, but in reality, you don't have that much thoughts, and literally it is super easy to study. You are kind of stressed, but like you are enjoying to be stressed at that point. Pomodoro makes you interrupt the flow every 30 minutes to 1 hour, when in reality, you could have a flow which could let you study for like 4 to 5 hours in language. What happens is that you're in your immersion content, let's say that you're watching anime, and you feel like you can watch even 1 hour to 2 hours more, but now your Pomodoro has finished and you have to take a break. And since you have to take a break, you have to interrupt the flow. And if you're interrupting the flow, you will study less hours. So don't interrupt the flow. Just insert in your brain that whenever you have a break, you are interrupting the flow, and so the next time it will be harder. The next time it will be harder to study. It doesn't matter who you are, Pomodoro gets you to take retarded breaks. So what I mean by this is that you will be literally just doing something like this, which is, I have my break right now. I can go and literally eat some junk food. I can go and take my breakfast. I can go and eat a chocolate right now. And in reality, that is a retarded break. Also, you can do things like playing video games as a break. You can do things like watching social media, watching TikTok as a break, which in reality, these types of breaks will make your next session of study harder, because now you have all of these fun thoughts that you got from video games, that you got from TikTok, that you got from the chocolate that you ate, and so it will be harder. That is a retarded break. All of this just because you are using Pomodoro, so just stop using it for the love of God. So if you want to track how many hours you will study in the day, just literally put a timer for the total amount of hours you will study. So for example, I read for 4 hours daily, and I literally go to the timer and I put 4 hours. That's it. Now you're going to notice that even if you put a timer for the total amount of hours you will study, you will probably not going to be able to do it at first, because you're literally not me, and you will not be able to not be distracted for the total amount of hours you want to study. And so what I recommend to you here is put a timer for 60 to 70% of the time you are going to study. And this basically gets you to think that, oh, it's just way easier to finish first 70% of the work I have to do, and then I know for a fact that I can do the rest of the percentage even if I am at my worst state, which is basically my case with reading. When I have a really bad day, what I basically do is I don't put a timer for 4 hours because I know for a fact that I don't have the attention span to finish those 4 hours in just one sit that day. And so what I will do is literally I put a timer for 80 to 70% of this time. I finish that time, And then literally I can take a break for, I don't know, 3 hours, 4 hours, which at that point is not even a break. And I know for a fact that even if I'm bloated, even if I have a horrible attention span due to literally having eaten, I don't know, whatever thing, I know for a fact that I can finish a 30 to 20% of the work I have available, even if I'm at my worst state. Check the first link in the description, which is basically my free courses, and you actually have my attention to in there, which is really good. And engage with this content if you want more people to know about this. Thank you.